Hello everyone, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. As usual, I remain Tracy and I'm always going to be bringing for you new things every day. So for today, in this video, we are basically going to talk about plagiarism. We all need to know what plagiarism is in information literacy. So when one is able to understand what plagiarism is, then maybe in one way or the other we'll be able to avoid it. So I want us to start straight away by understanding what the meaning of plagiarism is. And what I mean by this is we need to define plagiarism and get to know what it is. So in these slides we can see we have the definition of plagiarism, but before we go to the slides, in your own understanding, maybe you need to know what a simple meaning of plagiarism could be. So in a simple way of understanding what plagiarism is, we can easily define it as a way of trying to use someone else's work without permission. So you try to, use another one's work without his permission. Maybe you could write another book, but when you've used someone else's ideas, but now if you don't cite the work where you got it from, then it means it is plagiarism. It is kind of stealing someone's work because you're using it without his or her permission. So that is the way we can understand plagiarism in simple terms. But in definition, we can say plagiarism involves the intentional or negligent use of paraphrase or direct quotations of the published or unpublished work of another person without full or clear acknowledgement in all such scholarly work as essays. It could be examinations, laboratory reports, it can be computer programs, music scores, or even visual presentations. So you use someone's work, it could be intentional or kind of negligent, but when you're using someone's work to try to bring out your own ideas. So that is what we define as plagiarism. So in our next step, we have to understand the different types of plagiarism. And in this slide, as you're seeing, there is direct plagiarism, there is self-plagiarism, there is mosaic plagiarism, and also maybe accidental plagiarism. So we need to understand one by one what they mean such that we are able to avoid them. So the first one, as we said, it was direct plagiarism. And to easily understand what direct plagiarism means is for example, you're given a coursework at campus, then a colleague does his or her coursework very well, but for you haven't done yours. So when you get to realize that maybe the deadline of submission is something like tomorrow, and even today you haven't done the coursework, then you tell your friend who has already done the work, please forward me your work. Now when the person forwards you the work, instead of you maybe making some different changes such that you come up with your own ideas, you instead copy and paste every word of his work, then that one we identify it as direct plagiarism. That is why we are defining it as a word-for-word transcription. You are changing, you're transferring one word per word into your work. So that one is what we can easily identify as direct plagiarism, and it mostly happens to such incidents that I've told you, most cases in campus. You're given work, so you're rushing, you don't have what the next step is, so you decide to just copy your friend's work directly. You copy word per word. That is what we call direct plagiarism. Then when we proceed and we look at self-plagiarism, so in self-plagiarism, you're given an assignment, and instead of writing a new document or work to present to maybe your lecturer or supervisor, instead you decide to bring the work you already had. Let me say, I like using things of campus because I'm also at campus, so just try to bear with me. An example, let me say you were in last semester, you had some assignment on the topic of, let me say, okay, let us use this very topic of plagiarism. You did the assignment very well. Now you come for next semester and you're given the same assignment. Instead of coming up with new ideas, you should, instead of being flexible, you instead decide to bring the work like you did last semester and submit it for this semester. That is what they call self-plagiarism. In simple terms, it is submission of previous work without permission from professors. You give him your previous work instead of doing a new copy. Then, when we proceed, we look at mosaic plagiarism. And in mosaic plagiarism, this one borrows a phrase from a source without using quotations, or finds synonyms for the author's language while keeping to the same general structure and meaning of the original. Sometimes it's called patch writing. So now this one, I can give you an example of, I'm given an assignment to research about growth and development in plants and animals. Then I'll go to the library. As I'm in the library, I get a textbook. Let me say a biology textbook like for Susan Toole. I read through the work that is about growth and development. So as I'm reading, remember it is a research, so I need to give a report on what I have researched. So as I'm reading, I get some work, I get a paragraph, like maybe it has made some good sense to me or good meaning, and it is like good. Then I try to pick it out from that textbook. I pick it out. As I go read by, there is some work I feel like, no, it is not necessary for me to pick it. I leave it. Instead, maybe I could decide to use other words that could mean the same thing as that is written in the textbook. I decide to be flexible. I change some few words as I'm doing some, you could call it paraphrasing or summary writing. I pick some few words that are important. I could even change them with some different words, but to mean the same thing. So that is what we call mosaic plagiarism. You borrow a phrase from a source without using quotations. You borrow ideas, then you bring them into your own. Yeah. So then the fourth one is accidental plagiarism. This one occurs when a person neglects to cite his or her sources, or misquotes their sources, or unintentionally paraphrases a source by using similar words or group of words. Now, this accidental plagiarism happens. Let me assume I'm trying to write a book, and in the process of writing the book, I maybe forget to cite the book that it is written by Tracy, or even I might, like, should I say, cite it differently. I can give it, instead of putting my name, I put for my friend's name. So I'm misquoting their sources, or I'm neglecting to cite. That is maybe forgetting, or even intentionally you refuse to cite it. So that one is accidental plagiarism. You make finding sources difficult for one who is going to read that information that you've written. So in simple terms, this is how we always do plagiarism. They are basically in 4 ways as listed: direct, self, mosaic, and accidental. So we need to also understand causes of plagiarism. If we are finished to understand the types of plagiarism, we need to understand what really brings plagiarism into our societies, where we live, where we come from. So, the first cause of plagiarism could be citation errors. As I said earlier, I can wrongly cite my work. I've written a document, instead I cite a friend's name instead of mine. So that one causes plagiarism. Then, and which is accidental plagiarism. Then, incomplete understanding of original work. When I fail to understand the original work or the original source of work, then it is going to cause plagiarism in one way or the other. Then also poor note taking. We can also look at academic honor code and social codes. So as I was talking, like this last point of academic honor code, someone will be asking him or herself, what is an academic honor code? What does it mean? So I'm not going to talk much about it, but what we need to understand is, for an academic honor code or social code, they could be academic dishonesty, like in institutions like universities. These different ways in which students behave, it is under these codes here. So the first one is academic dishonesty, where, for example, a student is given an assignment and instead of submitting his or her own work, gives in for the other. That is a dishonesty. There is altering of academic records, like transcripts. It is also part of dishonesty. Even cheating. Those are the dishonesty ways we are talking about under these academic honor codes. So this is what I had for today, and please, I thank you very much for always viewing my YouTube channels, my YouTube videos. I thank you for always subscribing, liking, commenting, and I continue asking for your support. Please continue watching my videos, like them, subscribe to them. I thank you so much. Have a blessed day as I bring more for you. Stay tuned. Thank you.